Mr. Chairman, I have an amendment on the table.
And the clerk will please distribute the amendment. Without objection, it's considered as read. The gentleman's recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As a strong proponent of increasing transparency across our government, I am offering an amendment that I believe strengthens responsible stewardship of taxpayer dollars for presidential travel. Since its inception, the Air Force has professionally and honorably carried out presidential airlift. We must continue to support our airmen who accomplish this proud mission. However, we also owe it to those airmen to ensure that DoD staff and resources provided by the American taxpayer are not being exploited for personal gain and potentially diverting valuable dollars away from their intended purpose of protecting national security. According to the New York Times, President Trump spent 44 days, roughly a month and a half, in total of his presidency traveling to and staying at a property he owns. And while several of these trips have included official state business, they have also included many rounds of golf as well as other non-official business. I believe this committee ought to be concerned about conducting appropriate oversight over the cost to DoD for these lavish trips as well as ensuring transparency. It's not limited to the current president. Last year, upon request from a group of Republican senators, the GAO estimated a 3-day trip by President Obama to Illinois and Florida, a visit that included both official and unofficial business activities, cost defense agencies $2.8 million alone, excluding classified and personal expenses. As a private citizen, I supported these efforts to examine the cost of President Obama's travels because I believed the American public had the right to know how their tax dollars were being spent. Now, as a member of this committee, I am even more concerned about the nature and degree to which valuable resources are being spent to subsidize travel habits. That's why I sent a letter to Secretary Mattis dated March 9th and signed by 4 other members of this committee, requesting more information on how much DoD has spent to date in support of President Trump's travels. In the Air Force's response to my letter, 3 months later, I received 2 weeks ago, it reported that total cost for movement of the President and required equipment from January 20th to May 18th of this year was in excess of $15 million. My common sense amendment simply directs DoD to provide this committee with reports on a quarterly basis that detail the direct and indirect costs to the department in support of presidential travel. These reports must include information about any cost incurred for travel to properties owned or operated by the President or their immediate family. It does not say they can or cannot go to those locations or any other location. Whether a Democrat or a Republican is President, the historical increase in travel in recent years, including by President Trump and President Obama, warrants closer oversight by Congress, including the committees with jurisdiction over the agency that support such travel. I want to thank Representatives Gallego, Moulton, Shea Porter, and Rosen for their support of my amendment. On behalf of American taxpayers, I urge my colleagues to adopt my amendment